Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Israelite Advanced Bible Study night, 5th of December, 2023. And the discussion inside the class is exposing Revelation chapter 18. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel, to Prophets of Awakening, and check out our. We have like over 700 videos with different discussions, a lot of information. You can check them out. If you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And for those that want to donate to the channel, we got a cash up at the bottom of the screen. So this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Okay, Tanakh being the Old Testament, the so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah being the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by the Lord of hosts. Okay, and our hours, if you want to follow us or participate, our hours of operation is on Tuesday nights. We have our advanced Bible study night for everyone. It's from 8 to 10 Central Time. And then on Wednesday nights we do a bunch of reading through the Tanakh, reading through the Old Testament. It's also from 8 to 10 Central Time. And then we have our Women's Advanced Bible Study night on Thursday nights. Every Thursday, it's from 8 to 10 Central Time. Okay. Then we have our men's advanced Bible Study on Friday nights on Clubhouse. And the channel on Clubhouse, the room is Non-Messianic Conversations. That's also from 8 to 10 Central Time. Okay. Then we come back at Saturdays from for our morning Sabbath class. It's at 10 to 12 a.m. And then we come back, close out the Shabbat at 6 to 7. Okay. So those are our hours of operation. You can still feel if you feel the need to come in and engage, those are our hours. So shalom and welcome to this channel, and welcome to our advanced Bible study. Okay, we're gonna do our moment of silence, of prayer. We read the Psalms, and we'll do some current events. To see what's going on with the news, global news. And then we'll open it up. We'll do some need to know information. And then we'll open it up for some Q&A, comments, or any kind of dialogue or questions that you might have. Then we'll go into our topic, which is exposing Revelation chapter 18. Okay. So with that being said, it's a moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and Yahweh, our creator, and all that they're doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay. Oh Lord, we come this day, bow down, honoring you and praising you and believing in you. We thank you for your wisdom and your knowledge that you have poured out upon us through your prophets. You revealed the times that we as Jacob's children would endure. Keep us, O Lord, guide us and deliver us. We see you now within the Holy Scriptures, O Lord, and we trust you, O Lord, with all our heart and all our soul. Keep not thy silence, but shine forth on our enemies with thy power and thy glory. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, I'll read a song. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll read Psalm 74 is a complaint born of faith. It's by Asaph. O God, why hast thou cast us off forever? Why doeth thine anger smoke against the sheep of thy pasture? Remember thy congregation, which thou hast purchased of old, the rod of thine inheritance, which thou hast redeemed. This Mount Zion, wherein thou hast dwelt. Lift up thy feet unto thy perpetual desolations, even all that the enemy have done wickedly in the sanctuary. Thy enemies roar in the midst of the congregation. They set up their ensigns for signs. A man was famous according as he had lifted up axes upon the thick trees. But now they break down the carved work thereof at once with axes and hammers. They have cast fire into thy sanctuary. They have defiled by casting down the dwelling place of thy name to the ground. They said in their hearts, let us destroy them together. They have burned up all the synagogues of God in the land. We see not our signs. There is no more any prophet, neither is there any among us at the knoweth how long, O God, how long shall the adversary reproach? Shall the enemy blaspheme thy name forever? Why withdrawest thou thy hand, even the right hand? Pluck it out of thy bosom. For God is my King of old, working salvation in the midst of the earth. Thou didst divide the sea by thy strength. Thou breakest the heads of the dragon in the waters. Thou breakest the head of the Leviathan in pieces, and gavest him to be meat to the people inhabiting the wilderness. Thou didst cleave the foundations of the flood. Thou dried up many mighty waters, rivers. Thy day is thine. The day is thine. The night is also thine. Thou hast prepared the light and the sun. Thou hast set all the borders of the earth. Thou hast made summer and winter. Remember this, that the enemy have reproached, O Lord, and that the foolish people have blasphemed thy name. O deliver not the soul of thy turtle dove unto the multitude of the wicked. Forget not the congregation of thy poor forever. Have respect unto the covenant, for the dark places of the earth are full of the habitations of cruelty. Or let not the oppressed return again, and let the poor and needy praise thy name. Arise, O God, plead thine own cause. Remember how the foolish man reproacheth thee daily. Forget not the voice of thine enemies, the tumult of those that rise up against thee, increase continuously. So that was Psalms 74, a complaint born of faith by Asaph. Anybody got any comments? Okay, let's shine a light on verse 2. It tells you, just like in Isaiah chapter 8, verse 18, where the God Israel dwells at, and is not in heaven, the heavens. So Psalm 74 and 2. Remember thy congregation, which thou hast purchased of old, the rod of thy inheritance, which thou hast redeemed. This Mount Zion, where thou hast dwelt. So whoever the God of Israel at, dwelleth on Mount Zion, not in the heavens of heaven. Okay? So with that being said, nobody have no comments on it. We're going to move to our current events. Okay? Okay?
Illness is being reported in China. Hospitals are being overwhelmed with loads of patients. China not giving information. Similar cases of illness started propping up in other parts of the world. Global health agencies sounding an alarm. Countries taking preventive measures. Does this paint a familiar image for you? Does this evoke memories of COVID pandemic? Well, this is what is happening around the world. But this time, it's not COVID-19, but rather a bacterium called Mycoplasma pneumonia. This is to be blamed for the recent wave of cases. pediatric clinics in China are getting overwhelmed with patients. China is now encouraging the use of traditional Chinese medicine for respiratory illness in China. Reports earlier showed health facility in Shanghai was receiving more than 8,000 outpatient emergency visits and distributing more than 1,400 outpatient intravenous drips per day. But it is not just Beijing and Liaoning in China. While over pneumonia cases are being reported, though the numbers are not as alarming. Outbreaks have been reported in the Netherlands and Denmark in Europe. Massachusetts and Ohio counties in the United States are witnessing a surge in pneumonia cases. According to State Serum Institute, the current rate is at epidemic levels in Denmark. Over 540 cases were just reported last week. In the Netherlands, cases have rapidly increased since August. The current rates are twice as high as the rates experienced last winter. Two states, Massachusetts and Ohio, are reporting a surge in child pneumonia. In Western Massachusetts, cases of walking pneumonia cases are being reported there. Over 142 cases of condition dubbed as white lung syndrome have been reported since August in Warren County in Ohio. Health officials have described the figure as extremely high. People in Ohio County are also testing positive for mycoplasma pneumonia, adenovirus, and strep. Experts say the recent surge could be due to children's weakened immunity due to lockdown, seasonal infections, which usually flare up every 5 years, and cyclical nature of mycoplasma. United States Center for Disease Control and Prevention says there is no new or novel pathogen causing spike in cases. Rather, it is the existing pathogens such as COVID flu or mycoplasma. Officials say CDC's explanation has not been corroborated by other sources from European Union partners to get a complete picture. These findings are in line with World Health Organization's findings. However, the World Health Organization has asked China for more information. In fact, 5 US senators led by Marco Rubio have urged President Joe Biden to impose a travel ban between the United States and China. Jennifer Sung is a member of International Press Association and host of Inconvenient Truths by Jennifer Sung, which aims at offering first-hand info and unique insights about China and CCP. She is now joining us live from New York. Hi, Jennifer, and welcome to We On World as One.
Hi, thank you for having me.
China has sneezed again. Will the world cut the code?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure whether that is the case, but definitely this wave of new outbreak in China that has already, like you said, overwhelmed many hospitals does, I think, alarm the world, because we have very fresh memory of 2020 when the COVID first broke out in China.
Jennifer, what is China doing to contain this pneumonia outbreak from being contagious? Because unlike COVID, some type of pneumonia are contagious and can spread fast. And yet China is declining to provide further information.
Yeah, up to now, I don't see any kind of very, you can say, effective or proactive response from the government. I think the first thing they do is try to downplay the information. And actually, according to an inside source within the CCP, Xi Jinping himself actually ordered that not to report much about the pandemic or the epidemic, because he just finished his visit to the US. So the CCP's official media has been, trying to portray his visit to the US as a very successful diplomatic victory for him. So in the period when he was mainly to try to promote his victory, he doesn't want the epidemic or the whatever outbreak to interfere with his victory flavor. So he is personally ordering the government or the official media to you can say censor the report. So for such a huge outbreak, you can't say much or any news stories about the outbreaks. You can say occasionally the official media publish a knowledge piece of how to deal with influenza or how to deal with pneumonia, what kind of preventional measures you can take. So overall in China, I think apart from trying to downplay the issue and to contain the information that is spread on the online, the official doesn't do much or anything.
Some say that this is seasonal and would likely fizzle out by spring. Most countries which border China, including India, are on the onset of winter. How should they stay alert and cautious?
I'm not quite sure. Actually, I just listened to your summary of the issue. I think yesterday, actually, Canada also reported the new cases of white lung diseases. So I think if it doesn't like a regular seasonal like issue, because if it is a seasonal issue, every year we encounter the same issue, so the hospital should be very well prepared, because if it happens every year. But this year, a lot of hospitals in China are reporting 10 times more patients than ordinary year. So they'll say we can't see it just as like a seasonal thing. Yeah, I think there is a factor. This is a flu season or this or that, but we need to recognize the fact that there are way more, 10 times more patients than maybe last year when we also have seasonal influenza. So this is very worrying. I think whether it will spread to the world or not depends on the nature of this outbreak. Whether
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody heard anything else?
Shalom. That's just the same thing that I've heard. Just adding
You
to it a
low?
little bit more.
You low?
Okay, hold on. I said it's about the same that I've heard. It's about the same that I heard. Just a little added on. Nothing too much new.
Okay.
Shalom, everyone. Yes, they use this word mycoplasm, right? MYCO, right? Plasm, which can come in different forms of different things. So actually, you don't need treatment for that. So they're saying that it is spread by, coughing or sneezing or whatever, right? It is contagious. That's what they're saying. But it can be treated naturally with you don't need antibiotics for that. It can be treated naturally, with garlic and other things like that. So they're using these big names to sort of scare us.
Okay.
Yeah, when it comes to that, again, we got to be careful with the way we go by what they're saying. At first, it was walking pneumonia, right? So now they give it a more fancy name, mycoplasm, right? Which can reference a lot of different things. So it can always be treated naturally. It's not really that serious like they think it is, but again, they're trying to get us in a panic.
Is that something?
Shalom.
Yes, sir.
Shalom, and as they use the children, and that would panic the parents.
Exactly. Okay. Got another one right here.
Not too long ago, Representative Jamal Bowman went on to MSNBC and said the quiet part out loud. Check it out.
A combination of all these things is turning young people off, and people of color have been turned off for a while because of lack of comprehensive immigration reform, if you're talking about the Latino community, and no conversation at all about reparations if you're talking about the Black community. But we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars every year on weapons and war, but we can't even have a conversation about reparations.
So as you saw and heard him say there, basically Black voters are getting fed up because there's not even a conversation about reparations, which is what most Black people in America have been asking for, well, since slavery ended, right? We want our 40 acres and a mule. We want Uncle Sam, Joe Biden and them, to write us a check, especially since Black people are the party that the Democrats depend on, right? They cannot win dog catcher of the year without us. And not to mention all of the horrors that our ancestors went through in slavery, Jim Crow, and even today, right? Black people are still catching it. But yet, as Representative Bowman said there's no conversation about reparations to help Black people. But yeah, there's money going all over the world. And even here, as migrants come into the United States of America, they get help, they get money, right? But Black people, nothing. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. We don't owe you anything. I'll be damned if I'm held responsible for something my ancestors did. Or how about this? I'm not going to just do anything just for Black people now. Of course, y'all know that was Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who were very demonstrative in letting Black people, the very Black people that got them into the White House, know I'm not going to do something just for y'all. I wasn't responding. What did I have to do with that, right? But are you responsible for what's going on in other people's country that they got to come over here? Well, you might be just a little bit, but I digress. Y'all still helping them out. But Black people who are here, in America and endured such horrible things, you don't feel the tad bit responsible? Especially when a lot of the people, the white people, they're, getting the benefits of slavery still, right? They got all that generational wealth passed down to them and they're still reaping benefits. But Black people, get your bootstraps. Well, it's like if you get off of the bootstraps, you might be able to pull them up. But that whole bootstrap theory it's really just nonsense, just to absolve, them of having to do anything. Well, we worked hard. No, you didn't, because your ancestors weren't bent over in the cotton fields, picking cotton, tobacco, and anything else out there. Your ancestors, so you didn't work hard. And I would argue that you ain't really working all that hard now because y'all still need Black people to do anything, right? To make y'all hot and popping, relevant, or any of that other stuff. So that's a whole conversation for a different day. But back to what the good congressman said there. When are we going to start having these conversations? We ain't talking about no study. Conversations about what time the checks going to be printed and mailed out to Black people, American descendants of slavery. What time does the conversation start? Because I would love to know so I can, tune in, or I can look at the mailbox, or direct deposit would be nice for me too. But when are we going to start having that conversation?
Okay. Any comments on that? Okay. Got some need to know information right here.
War. A big question looms large. What will happen, especially to women and children who find themselves in the middle of all this chaos? This fight has not just caught the eye of countries all around the world, but it's also making leaders take a stand, either in support or against, in a situation where politics and doing what's right clash. As this battle rages on, leaders from different parts of the world are speaking up and showing where they stand, making clear their opinions on an issue that's loaded with history and a whole bunch of different aspects. But not everyone is taking sides. Some countries are choosing to stay neutral, which shows how tricky it is to deal with situations like these. One leader who's had something to say about this is Russia's president, Vladimir Putin. What he thinks adds an interesting twist to the ongoing talks about the Israel-Hamas issue. Being a big shot on the world stage, Putin's take on the Israel-Hamas conflict carries weight. His expression of worry adds to the seriousness of the situation and the possible far-reaching effects. As the entire world grapples with the complexities of this challenging situation, the significance of dialogue and seeking peaceful solutions becomes increasingly apparent. Can these conversations and efforts for peace truly
You want to make sure the joinery you use on your woodworking projects is
their downward spiral and safeguard those most vulnerable in the midst of this turmoil? President Vladimir Putin recently issued a strong warning about the Israel-Hamas conflict, suggesting that its impact could reach far beyond the Middle East. Speaking during a meeting at the Kremlin with leaders from different religious faiths in Russia, Putin criticized the punishment being meted out to innocent civilians in Gaza, particularly women, children, and the elderly, for the actions of others. Expressing the need to put an end to the bloodshed in the region, Putin revealed that he had conveyed this message to other world leaders in phone conversations. His concern is clear. If the violence doesn't cease, there's a genuine risk of a much broader and more severe escalation. As the world closely observes, the obvious question remains: can collective efforts and diplomatic interventions effectively curb the intensifying crisis and prevent it from turning into a larger and more catastrophic situation? In a recent meeting, President Putin said that our main job right now is to stop the fighting and violence, according to the official meeting notes from the Kremlin. He also said something pretty serious. President Putin commented on the fact that if the fighting doesn't stop, things could get a lot worse, with really bad and dangerous consequences. And it's not just a problem for the Middle East. It could become a big problem that affects places far away from there. In his recent talk, President Putin didn't just say we need to stop the fighting. He also pointed fingers at the West, suggesting that some unknown forces want to make things worse. According to him, these forces are trying to make the conflict bigger and involve more countries and people. So, Putin is basically saying that there might be some outside players intentionally making the situation more complicated. President Putin recently talked about Russia's position on the issue between Israel and Palestine. He said that Moscow still believes in a two-state solution, meaning there should be separate independent countries for Israelis and Palestinians. According to him, this is the best way to find a solution that lasts for a long time. We'll have to wait and see how this diplomatic stance contributes to solving the complicated problems between Israel and Palestine in a larger context. Russia has been speaking up about the Israel-Hamas conflict. A few weeks ago, they warned Israel not to go for a ground attack on the Gaza Strip by Hamas. The Kremlin spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, talked about the risk of the conflict spreading across the Middle East. Russia's warning indicates their serious concern that the situation could worsen and spread to additional neighboring countries. It draws attention to how difficult it is to manage conflicts throughout the Middle East, since events in one region can have a significant impact on another. The Kremlin announced that President Putin was gearing up to have talks with China's top leader, Xi Jinping, regarding the Middle East situation at an upcoming Belt and Road Forum. Moreover, President Putin didn't just stop at planning discussions with China. He took a proactive step by reaching out to leaders in the Middle East directly. He had phone conversations with significant figures, including Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. Russia is committed to actively involving itself with influential figures in the region, adopting a diplomatic approach to gain a deeper understanding of the intricacies surrounding the current situation. The aim is to explore possible avenues for resolving the ongoing issues. Peskov, a Kremlin chief, who has been fighting against Ukraine and causing a lot of damage, surprisingly asked for a stop to the fighting. Even though there's been a destructive war, Peskov wants a ceasefire to protect regular people caught in the middle. This sudden request makes us wonder why. Is it because they genuinely care about the people's safety, or is it because of pressure from other countries? Work together. They've not only talked about it, but also promised to make their countries closer in lots of ways, like in politics, business, and culture. Their good relationship has made it easier for Russia and Israel to understand each other and cooperate. So, when you see them saying they want to strengthen their ties, it's like they're planning to be even better friends in the future.
Okay, any comments on that?
So, I saw moving.
Anybody got any comments on that? Okay.
Shalom.
All right.
The President Putin talks about the war that's going on right now, but he did basically the same thing when he wanted to take over parts of Ukraine.
Okay.
So how he going to push them to stop doing something that he was doing? And so many people got killed, and so many people had to flee, and they're over here, and they had to go to Poland, and now he's saying about something will get worse, but he did made a threat that said if the U.S. If the West got involved with Ukraine and his war that he had, he was going to do something. So it's kind of ironic that he's trying to tell them to stop the war that he just got out of one.
Yeah, it is ironic. It is. It's just like they they're taking power shots and tell each other to see who can get away with what and who's going to be finally the superpower that rules. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, we'll open it up for some Q&A comments, or anybody got any dialogue, anything they want to talk about before we deal with the exposing Revelation chapter 18. No questions or comments? Okay.
No, sir, not at this time.
We're going through the lesson.
We're here today because we believe in education, not indoctrination.
Teaching the facts will bring the country together, not divide the country.
Thomas Jefferson. What do you think of Thomas Jefferson? You like him? Okay, good. Are we going to take down the statue? Because he was a major slave owner.
Do we need more critical race theory if that's what it means, teaching the truth? We need more of that in schools.
You're changing history. You're changing culture.
This is a deliberate plan to politicize and whitewash history.
You're teaching children to hate others because of their skin color. In the other group also, you had some fine people, but you also had troublemakers, and you see them come with the black outfits and with the helmets and with the baseball bats. You got a lot of bad people in the other group too.
Eric, we say
your time is up. Thank you.
Allow teachers to teach the truth. Allow teachers to teach the truth. Allow teachers to teach the truth.
As a parent, have you ever questioned whether your children should be exposed to the difficult truths of our history? Like the horrors of slavery and the persistent issue of racism. You're not alone. Many parents share the same concerns, fearing that discussing these topics might shake their children's faith in the greatness of our nation. Likewise, some lawmakers argue against addressing systemic racism, believing it threatens the unity we hold dear. But beneath these debates lies an emotional undercurrent. Are we prepared to erase a significant part of our nation's history? The suffering and brutality endured by a group of people? Will we silence voices and suppress ideas like critical race theory that strive to illuminate our past? Join us as we embark on an emotional journey to explore these profound questions and confront the complex tapestry of our history. Welcome to Black History Diary. Today we explore the contentious subject of critical race theory and the concerns about its impact on erasing Black history. In our upcoming discussion, we invite you to ponder: is our national history a tool for fostering patriotism or a crucial lesson that confronts our complex collective past, embracing both its virtues and harsh realities? As we navigate this cultural background, we want your insights on the pivotal role understanding history holds in shaping our nation's future. In essence, this is a tale of the narratives molding our national identity. In recent years, nationwide legislation has prohibited the teaching of CRT in schools. But before we delve into the implications of this action, let's explore the origins of CRT and its significance in preserving Black history and identity. Critical race theory is not a novel concept. However, it has ignited further debates in recent years, mainly due to the adoption of state laws prohibiting its teaching in schools. It's important to note that contentious education policies and social movements aren't responding to new concerns, but are in fact rooted in age-old issues that have persisted across generations. These enduring challenges encompass issues such as housing segregation, discrimination, and repercussions of criminal justice policies, and the lasting impact of slavery in the United States. To comprehend the emergence of CRT and its transformation into a focal point of heated discussions, let's delve into its historical origins. In this story, we'll explore the impact of the pivotal legal and social reforms of that period. But did these reforms truly deliver what they promised? In the 1960s, the United States witnessed a series of pivotal legal and social reforms aimed at promoting civil rights and social justice. Key legislative acts included the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, and the Fair Housing Act. Supreme Court decisions like Brown versus Board of Education and Loving versus Virginia contributed to desegregation and the prohibition of interracial marriage bans. The era also saw the launch of Great Society programs addressing healthcare, education, and poverty. These reforms represented important steps towards greater equality and justice in the United States. However, for many, a sense of disillusionment began to dawn as they realized that, despite the profound legal challenges, significant improvements for marginalized communities still seemed agonizingly out of reach. The fundamental disparities persisted. For instance, a significant number of Black men continued to find themselves entangled within the criminal justice system. What these perceptive individuals came to recognize was that the mere alteration of laws did not effectively alter the deeply ingrained mechanisms governing these systems. Districts and public school academies from including these concepts in their educational materials, citing concerns that these approaches were promoting anti-American ideas. In 2022, Florida's House Bill 7 restricted how topics of race could be taught or discussed in schools. This bill removed concepts like intersectionality and systemic marginalization from the AP African American Studies course. It claimed that this decision may have been politically motivated, and it was a part of a broader pattern of whitewashing American history. These bills sparked a major debate in schools. White parents predominantly supported it. They believed that their children were too young to be taught ideas like racism, that CRT should be taught in law schools and not in grade schools. Senator Ted Cruz ignorantly claimed that critical race theory says every white person is a racist.
Critical race theory says every white person is a racist.
Slogans in protest across the cities claimed that our children should be protected from hateful ideologies. A little girl was seen holding a poster of "I'm not an oppressor." Another poster showed critical racist theory. In 2022, Governor DeSantis introduced the Stop Woke Act, aimed at addressing the presence of critical race theory in Florida's educational institutions. He emphasized the importance of maintaining a classroom environment free of divisive ideologies and stressed that educating children to harbor resentment towards their nation or fellow citizens should not receive taxpayer funding. In other words, let's not spend money to make Americans learn their true history and then feel bad about their sins of the past.
Last April, Ron DeSantis signed the Stop Woke Act, which prohibits education that makes people feel anguish on the account of race, color, sex, or national origin. In other words, it's basically illegal now in Florida to make white people feel bad about slavery.
On the other hand, Black parents countered with the fact that if your child is too young to understand racism, my child is too young to experience it. Yet they do. Monica H., a Black mother, while speaking to CNN, claimed that her child was in second grade at a school in Southwest Virginia when a white classmate called them the N-word. The white teacher did nothing to address the gravity of the racial slur, nor offered enough historical context to the students about why the word should not be used. The mother also made a poignant remark that children need to learn about racism so they don't repeat the wrongdoings of American history. The system employs various ways to prevent schools from teaching and celebrating diversity and inclusivity. An example is when a white mother in Virginia raised objections about a book, Out of Darkness, by Ashley Hope Perez. This was a historical novel depicting a relationship between a Mexican American and Black teenagers. The book discussed themes of sex, sexual abuse, and racism, and therefore faced conservative criticism, with some even labeling it as pornography. Following a request from the school division administrator, the book was removed from high school libraries nationwide.
Okay, any comments on that? Anybody know what critical race theory is? Okay. Okay. So, yeah, like I said, they're trying to, what they're doing is they accomplishing it, totally take out everything they've done, transatlantic slave trade, all the atrocities they've done in the 60s and 70s and all that. They trying to take that all that history out of the school system, because it's showing who they are as a people, what their nature really is. And they don't like it. Look at themselves in the mirror. Okay. Okay. More comments? Everybody good? Okay. So what I'm doing now, yeah, go ahead.
When it first started out talking, it brought me to a song that was with Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, while they were saying about teach the truth. That song that he had about wake up everybody.
Okay, yeah.
I think they had all these messages during that time, and I think it was like the early 70s, mid 70s, how they came out with a lot of songs to, I guess, to wake the black folks up
Right.
within the message of their songs. And that
Mhm.
one song there brought me to that point. I mean, reminded me how they did help put some, spark into the black individuals.
Right.
And then when the men said the group that came out with all black on, with the helmets and the bats, and that brought me to the point of thinking he's talking about the Black Panthers um,
Right.
group. So they more or less, the way he said it was more of a fear, not to point a finger. That so they did this. Basically, to me, it sounds like he was fearing, wanted to say, hey, those that group, the blacks, came out like they was ready to fight. They was always armed. Just in that little quote that that little statement he made. I got that out of his statement that the blacks suited up group was violent people.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I noticed that Deborah over on that channel uh, did a video on songs like KRS-One, Public Enemy. They attacked that because those things, those movies, like, I mean, those songs were therapeutic for us, and they came back with the rap, the hardcore rap, and all that. They diverted it because it was actually it was uplifting, because we're musical people, vibrations. So they throwed it off and started coming with all these crazy artists and all this sexually oriented lyrics, drug lyrics, and all that. So all that was done intentionally. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So, like I said, the thing is, I was reading the other night, and I was reading in Jeremiah 51. And like I said, every chance I get, I'm trying to show people that how to disconnect yourself from the New Testament, because you're trying to look at the events and the characters in the New Testament and trying to get to the truth of what these scriptures are trying to convey, and you're not gonna get there dealing with the New Testament, because it's a concoction. These folks got, like I was showing you the other night, when it was Qumran and all that, and all those the big hula they had on that when they found those Dead Sea Scroll books. But those were Edomites, and they was actually copycatting, because that's what they do. They have no culture, they have no history. They got stole other people's history, especially ours. And so they was emulating what we see most of the minor prophets, along with Isaiah and all them, went up in the mountains and separated itself from Israel because of, like I was saying, the Greeks that came. And the nation of Israel came to an end way back in 143 BC. So then they came with all this information now, tying it to our history, but it's not tied to our history. This ain't nothing but, they ain't doing nothing but copying and pasting. And took it and diverted the information away from us and what happened with us and our forefathers. So this is another example right here. And it's Genesis, this is Revelation chapter 18. I'm gonna read 18 first, read where it came from. You'll see that beyond the shadow of a doubt where it came from. So I'm in Revelation chapter 18. It's the so-called fall of Babylon. We'll read the whole thing, then I'll come back and read Jeremiah. Okay, so here we go. You got to keep in mind what's being conveyed. It says, and after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and will become the habitation of devils and the whole of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. So before I go any further, I want to shine a light on something. Verse 1. Just something to think about. Let it permeate. It says, John talking. And after these things I saw, look at this, I saw another angel, right, come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lit with his glory. So like I said before, where does angel in the Old Testament? He got so much power and glory, he's lighting up the whole earth. Where he in the Old Testament? Then this his glory, this angel's glory. Where is angel in the Old Testament? Okay, get that from me. Anyway, verse 3, for all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacy. So all this haven't happened yet. So they say. None of this has happened yet. So it says, for our sins have reached under heaven, and God have remembered her iniquities. Right? This is supposed to be Mystery Babylon, right? Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. In the cup which she have filled to her double, right? So we're gonna find out who this cup is, what cup it is. 7, how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, and so much torment and sorrow give her, for she have in her heart sit as a queen, and am no widow. Let me see how it go. Let me read it again. It says, much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no more sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, mourning, famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her, lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. So they see the smoke of her burning. 10, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Atlas, Atlas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is their judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. The merchandise of gold, silver, precious stone, pearls, fine linen, purple, silk, scarlet, and all diamond wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manner of vessels of most precious wood, and brass, and iron, and marble, cinnamon, odors, ornaments, frankincense, and wine, oil, fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, chariots, and slaves, and the souls of men, and the fruit that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these, check it out, the merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off. Remember this, stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Atlas, Atlas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour, right? In 1 hour, so great riches has come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company of ships and sailors and all manner of trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads, cried, weeping and wailing and saying, Atlas, Atlas, that great city, wherein there was made rich all that had ships in the sea, by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour she have been made desolate. Rejoice over her, thou heavens, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God have avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took up a stone. Check this out. Remember this, right? A mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And the voice of the harpers and the musicians and the pipers and the trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee. No craftsman or whatever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of the millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. And the light of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee, for the merchants were the great men of the earth, for by the sorceries were all the nations deceived, and in her was found the blood of the prophets and the saints, and all that were slain unto the earth. So that was chapter 18. So remember those things. You should be familiar with it. I think everybody on here came up in either Baptist church or Protestant or something. So it's told us this haven't came to pass yet. They're waiting on this. This is what I just read, Mystery Babylon the Great. It hasn't happened yet. So now let's go back. Jeremiah. This don't get you to thinking. I don't know what will. So Jeremiah. So let's gotta go over a few things before I start reading this, so make it plain. So we know that our forefathers sinned, and especially Zedekiah, they punished Jeremiah, the prophet of God, and he had Jeremiah to write a scroll, give it to Barak, and to take it to Zedekiah. And Zedekiah was in the summer house. When he brought him the scroll, he took the scroll, threw it in the fire, and burned it. So that pissed off the Lord of hosts. So he brought Nebuchadnezzar there, burned his house, burned the temple, burned all the priests, because they was all there. They all participated. They ain't trying to stop him burning the scroll, the word of God. So that's how everything got burned up. So, but he used Nebuchadnezzar to do it. right? And so Jeremiah told them, just like now, we was brought over here, we was prophesied that we was gonna be taken on slave ships until this last captivity, and then after the captivity was over with, he was gonna judge the people that brought us in captivity. We see that with Egypt. They went into Egypt, ended up being oppressed, and they came out, he judged Egypt. So Babylon, the Babylonians came, took the good feed, took them back to Babylon, stayed there 70 years. But Jeremiah told them, you're going to be there 70 years, and when you come out of here, I'm going to judge Babylon. Ain't no mystery Babylon. He says, I'm going to judge Babylon, right? So let's look at it and see if this ain't where they got this from. Okay, so I'm in chapter 51. It also says, the Lord's judgment on Babylon. Same as over there in Revelations that's supposedly haven't happened yet. So let's read. It says, thus says the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that raise up against me a destroying wind. And I will send unto Babylon fanners that they shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in one day of troubles they shall be against her round about. So let's look at it again. Verse 2, and I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in one day, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. So they saying 1 hour over there, but he's saying 1 day, same thing. So anyway, 3, against him that bendeth let the archers bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in his bridle, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of Chaldeans, and they shall all thrust through in her streets. For Israel have not been forsaken. So he doing this because of what they did to Israel, right? It says, for Israel have not been forsaken, for Judah of his God, of the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. So they, even though they sinned against them, the Chaldeans came there and was slaughtering them. So that's what he's saying. After the 70 years, he's doing the same thing what they did to his people in the land of Israel. He's going to judge them. So let's look at it. 5, for Israel have not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, of the Lord of hosts, though their land be filled with the sin against the Holy One of Israel. Flee out of the midst of Babylon. See that? So they're trying to apply that to now. So it says, flee out of the midst of Babylon. This is Jeremiah talking. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. So what vengeance? What they done to Israel when they came and burned the temple and all that. So it says vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. That's what it is. Zedekiah burned the scrolls, so the Most High brought Babylon there to burn his house, to burn all the princes' house. Well, now he got to come back, burn all their houses up because they burned up the temple and burned up the men of Israel and killed them and slaughtered them all over the place. So these recompense is the same thing that you did. That's what I'm gonna do to you. So let's keep reading. 7, Babylon has borne a golden cup. They go to golden cup. Same one over there in Revelation. Babylon has borne a golden cup in the Lord's hand that have made all the earth drunken. See that? Same thing. They just took it over there and told you is in the future. So it says, Babylon have borne a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. Same thing over there, right? 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen, suddenly, in 1 hour, like he said. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. It's going to get more precise in a minute. Take balm for her pain. If so, be she, so she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go, everyone into his own country, for her judgment reaches under heaven and is lifted up even to the sky. The Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord our God. Make bright the arrows. See that? Make bright the arrows. Gather the shields. The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. See that? He already told us, Daniel told us the Medes and Persians was coming after the Babylonians, right? So this is who he's using. For his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because, here you go, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. See that? I ain't talking out the side of my neck. See that? So 12, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Well, didn't they destroy the walls in Jerusalem? That's what he told. That's what Daniel said in Daniel 9:25. You're going to go back and rebuild the walls. That ain't got nothing to do with JC. So 12, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes, for the Lord have both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon through Jeremiah. Right? Jeremiah dead and gone. And the prophecy. So 13, O thou that dwelleth upon many waters, same thing over there, many waters, abundant in treasures, thine end is come. See that? Abundance in treasures. They listed all the treasures over there in chapter 18 of Revelation. It says, abundance in treasures, thine end is come, the measure of thy covetousness. The Lord of hosts, look at this. This is what Jeremiah said. The Lord of hosts hath sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up and shout against thee. He hath made the earth by his power, and he hath established the world by his wisdom, and he hath stretched out the heavens by his understanding. When he uttereth his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he causes the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth, and he maketh lightning with rain, and he bringeth forth the wind out of the treasures. Every man is brutish by his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image. For his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity. The works of error, in the time of their visitation, they shall perish. So visitation is, Jeremiah told him, he coming. He coming back. But what you did to Israel, he gonna visit you, and they're gonna be good. So 19, the portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things. Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy the kingdom. And with thee will I break in pieces the horses and his rider. And with thee will I break in pieces the chariots and his rider. And with thee also will I break in pieces man and woman. And with thee will I break in pieces old and young. And with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock. And with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of iron, yoke of oxen. And with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. And I will render unto Babylon, here you go, I will render unto Babylon and to all inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, says the Lord. See that? Okay. 25, behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, says the Lord, which destroy all the earth. And I will stretch out my hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks, and I will make thee a burnt mountain. That's what they did to Jerusalem. He God of recompense. So let's look at it. So ain't the so-called mystery Babylon over there on fire and burnt? That's because they got it right here. From here, 26. And they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for a foundation, but they shall be desolate forever, which said the Lord. Set up a standard in the land, blow a trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her. Check it out. Call together against her the kingdoms of Arad, many Ashkenaz, appoint a captain against her, cause the horses to come up as the rough caterpillars, prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, telling you who it is. Daniel already told you that. The Medes and the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, all of the land of his dominion, and the land shall tremble and sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of the Babylon a desolation without inhabitants. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holes. Their might have failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her walls are broken down. Same thing with Israel. If you go to Lamentations. So 31, one post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babylon that his city is taken at one end, and that the passages are stopped, and that the reeds they have burned with fire, and the men of war are frightened. For thus said the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. See that? So they want to use that daughter of Babylon in the future. The daughter of Babylon is the Israelites, the righteous feed that he took to Babylon. The daughter of Babylon in Babylon. We got to leave there. So it says, well, thus says the Lord of hosts, God of Israel, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. It is time to thresh her. See that? Time, 70 years of. Yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. Nebuchadnezzar. See that? He ain't fumbling with it. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, have devoured me. See that? He went there and destroyed Jerusalem. He have devoured me. He have crushed me. He have made me an empty vessel. He have swallowed me up like a dragon. He have filled his belly with my delicacies. He have cast me out. That's what he did. To his temple. 35. Violence done to me and to my flesh be upon Babylon. Shall the inhabitants of Zion say, and my blood upon the inhabitants of the Chaldeans, shall Jerusalem say, therefore thus says the Lord, behold, I will plead thy cause, and take vengeance for thee, and I will dry up her sea and make her springs dry. And Babylon shall become a heap, a dwelling place for the dragons, an astonishment, and a hissing without inhabitants. They shall roar together like lions, and they shall yell as lions wept. In their heat will I make their feast, and I will make them drunken, that they may rejoice and sleep a perpetual sleep, and not wake, says the Lord. I will bring them down like lambs to the slaughter, like rams with he-goats. How is Sheshach taken? How is the praise of the whole earth surprised? How is Babylon become an astonishment among the nations? Right? This is a judgment that he when he brought the Medes and Persians. 42. The sea is come up upon Babylon. She is covered with a multitude of waves thereof. Her cities are a desolation, a dry land, and the wilderness is a land wherein no man dwelleth, neither doeth any son of man pass through. And I will punish Babylon. Let me see what it says. Okay. I will punish Babylon, and I will bring forth you of his mouth that which he have swallowed up. That's a remnant of Israel, Israelites. And the nation shall not flow together anymore unto him. Yea, the wall, here you go. The wall of Babylon shall fall. Okay? Ain't it a wall in Daniel 9:25? that they tore down. So this the famous
That's
wall. This the famous wall that's in Babylon.
yes, sir.
See that? So he says, the wall of Babylon shall fall, just like they brought down the wall in Jerusalem. 45. My people, go ye out of the midst of her, deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord. It's going to get ugly, right? So it says, and lest your heart faint, and ye fear the rumor that that shall be heard in the land, a rumor shall both come in 1 year, and after that in another year shall come a rumor and a violence in the land, ruler against ruler. Therefore, behold, the days come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of Babylon, and her whole land shall be confounded, and all her slain shall fall in the midst of her. Then the heavens and the earth and all that is therein shall sing for Babylon, for the spoilers shall come upon her from the north, says the Lord. Now here you go. As Babylon have caused, look at this, as Babylon has caused the slain of Israel to fall, so Babylon shall fall. Yeah, slain of all the earth. Ye that have escaped the sword, go away. Stand, here you go. Stand not still. Remember the Lord afar off, and let Jerusalem come unto her mind. We are confounded because we have heard a reproach. Shame have covered our faces, but strangers are coming to the sanctuary of the Lord's house. Wherefore, behold, the days come, says the Lord, that I will do judgment upon her graven images, and through all her land a wounded shall groan. Though Babylon shall mount up to heaven, and though she shall fortify the heights of her strength, yet from me shall the spoilers come unto her, says the Lord. A sound of a cry cometh to Babylon, and a great destruction in the land of the Chaldeans, because the Lord hath spoiled Babylon and destroyed out of her the great voice. When the waves do roar, like great waters, a noise of their voice is uttered, because the spoilers is come upon her, even upon Babylon, and her mighty men are taken. Every one of their bows is broken, for the Lord hath recompense shall surely requite. And I will make drunk her princes, and her wise men, and her captains, and her rulers, and her mighty men, and they shall sleep a perpetual sleep, and not wake, saith the King, whose name is the Lord of hosts. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the broad walls of Babylon shall be utterly broken, and her high gates shall be burned with fire, and the people shall labor in vain, and folks in the fire, and they shall be weary. And the word which Jeremiah the prophet commanded Syria, the son of Nera, the son of Mesa, when he went with Zedekiah the king, telling you when it happened. He kept King Zedekiah the king of Judah in Babylon in the 4th year of his reign, and this Syriac was a quiet prince. So here we go to millstone. So Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evil that shall come upon Babylon, even all those words that are written against Babylon. And Jeremiah said to Syriac, when thou comest to Babylon and shall see and shall read all these words, then shall thou say, O Lord, thou hast spoken against this place, to cut it off, that none shall remain in it, neither man nor beast, but it shall be desolate forever. Now here we go. And it shall be, when thou hast made an end of reading this book, that thou shalt bind a stone to it, cast it in the midst of the Euphrates, and thou shalt say, thus shall Babylon sink, and shall not rise from the evil that it shall bring upon it, and they shall be weary. Thus far are the words of Jeremiah. Now, if you can't see it, that ain't the same thing. Something wrong with you. Any comments? Anybody got any comments?
No, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So that was I did a comparison contrast with Revelation 18 to show you that what Jeremiah talked about in Jeremiah 51, That's where they got it from. And like I said, got people trying to make that work. Talking about that's coming in the future. He say Babylon. That's what it say. He's talking about the same Babylon. You can't destroy Babylon twice. Then you want to say it's some mystery Babylon. No, you got the same thing from over there, and you put it over there in Revelation. That's what that is. Okay.
Shalom. And they're trying to put it. They're trying to say they're going to do it again, which now they're out with the temple trying to redo that one,
Right.
and with all the things like the red heifer and stuff like that. So they're still trying to play the part, building the scene up for people to engage in that and go letter by letter out of the revelation.
Right. Okay. Ain't that something? Anybody else got anything? Yeah, so I was going to let everybody know that I was going to do it at the end of the Shabbat class on Saturday, but I forgot about it. But I don't know if anybody familiar with Shiloh, what I'm working on is we going to another level with that. So any donations that I can get will help. So I mean, if you don't trigger, just like water on a duck back, don't worry about it. But I'm just letting you know where I'm at with that. Okay. So
Yes,
with that being said, I'm gonna say shalom. See everybody tomorrow for meeting through the Tanakh. Shalom, shalom, and another shalom.
Shalom, everyone. Shalom.
Shalom.